Hi everyone, it's Justin here, Voices for Voices. Thank you very much for joining us. Whether you're watching or listening here in the United States or abroad, been with us from the beginning, or if this is your first episode, welcome, one and all. If you could do us a big favor, give us a thumbs up, like, follow, subscribe, share, reshare, repost, even maybe reach in and pull out your phone and share the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast with 25, 50, 100, 200 contacts in your phone. We greatly appreciate that. That helps us reach more people and helps us help more people. So I wanted to talk a little bit on this episode about finishing, finishing, finishing. And how I'm going to explain this is through experience I just had, like literally not even 5 minutes before this filming. And that is where, so as we know, I'm in front of the camera a lot, and I am not, I am not trying to think of the right word. So I am not a person that really shies away anymore of in therapy sessions. So I share, I talk, which makes sense. Probably makes more sense than when I say, "Oh yeah, you're an introvert." Well, I am an introvert and I do like to talk at times. So, with all that being said, so I just finished an appointment and and the deal is really this. So there's so many things in our head, so many things. So many experiences, so many little things, big things, medium-sized things that happen throughout our days and nights and afternoons that sometimes we don't get to where we have finished what we want to share. So that's where journaling, that's where, from our previous guest, Lawrence, talks about how journaling has and is helping him. He's just a total rock star, by the way. So you're gonna want to go back an episode before this and check that episode out. It's a long one, but it's worth it. Let me tell you, I learned so much from that conversation, and I got a snoring tongue behind me. Uh, It's so cool. She's just snoozing away, but she'll awake, I'm sure, at some point and say, Daddy's on TV, Daddy's filming. But so yeah, finishing. So I just finished again. I finished the actual appointment, but I didn't finish what I wanted, everything I wanted to share because time is finite, meaning there's not an unlimited amount of time. We don't know when's going to be our last day on Earth. And and so appointments with therapists and others, there's usually a time limit on those. And if you don't write something down, it makes it harder to get to all of those things. I am not the best journaler. I'm not the best person to take notes. store so much of my mind. And I think that's part of what contributes to a lot of the stress that I get at times. Because if I would get it out of my head on the paper, uh, I would I would be able to have a better chance of covering all those topics, all those experiences I wanted to share. And so I feel accomplished because I had the appointment. I shared so much. Some people, it's hard for them to share. It's like, well, what do I say? And at the beginning for me, I was in that boat. Like, what do I talk about? And at some point, I just got to the point of just as I voluntarily admitted myself into the psych ward, right? Just as I did that, made that decision, I also along those lines with the medication of do I don't want to take medication for a long time, for the rest of my life, whatever that may be. But when I kind of made that decision and when I voluntarily admitted myself, I felt and I still feel that in therapy, you get what you put in. So if I don't share anything, I'm going to have less of a chance of, even if it's just for a few minutes, of a little more, just a little more peace in their lives, a bit of a slowdown, I'll call it. And so I feel like if I don't, if I don't share, that's on me. If I'm not sharing, that's on me. The therapists, and the psychiatrists, that they're they are there to help, to jump in, ask questions as needed. But for somebody like me, I I talk. So just as I talk to you, whether you're watching or listening, that's how my appointments go. Where it's I use this analogy or, in this way. Think of it like a track and field event. Let's say the 100-yard dash or 50-yard dash, whatever the race is, that doesn't matter. You, if you're doing that, one of those races, you practice, prepare. Then when it comes time for the meet, which is what we would consider a game or a match in a different sport, we get ready. And then there's a point when we start. And that's kind of how I guess how I feel. I think maybe more of my analogy should be like a fighter jet on a aircraft carrier because I do talk fast at times and so it's like you got to go zero. I don't even know what the speed is that fighter jets get up to before they take off, like as they're taking off on a aircraft carrier. Because when I start, I go, and it's kind of like the Energizer Bunny, a little bit too, where I'm just gonna share, and that's my way of going about things. Doesn't mean that has to be yours or anybody else's. That's just me. I want to get my money's worth. Like, it's hard work. If there's things that we've accomplished, we should be able to share that. And if we can't share that with anybody other than a therapist or psychiatrist, we still were able to share it. And so that's just what I wanted to talk about here is I get going and I share and then time's up. Like it's like the bell at school. Remember, the bell rings, you switch classes, and then you start learning a different subject. But I didn't finish everything that I have in my mind that I wanted to share, but it's okay because I'm here now, present in the moment, and doing the show. That's why I wanted to do a show right away. I didn't want to wait 15 minutes because I was going to wait a short period of time and then I was going to film this episode. But I didn't want to because I wanted it to be so raw, so fresh in my mind so that when I share, it's it just happened. So that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Not at all. Absolutely not at all. I feel lot better, a little more at peace that I was able to share what I was able to share. But now life goes on, right? I mean, life just continues. The time keeps ticking. Tick tock, tick tock. And so if you go through a therapy session or any kind of session, any type of appointment, it's okay. None of us are perfect. So we don't need to beat ourselves up and go, Justin, there you go, screwed it up again. I knew it. I knew it would happen. I knew it would happen. We just need to stop beating ourselves up about things. It doesn't do any good to anybody when we start second guessing, putting ourselves down. Because you know who the number one person of putting down and maybe bullying to an extent? It's ourselves. We do that. It's not good. It's not a good practice. We do that though. Well, I'm not gonna try that again because it just didn't work out this time. Like it's not meant to be. Like there's no bell that goes off. I mean, now I'm going back on the bell with classes and that. But there's no bell that's gonna go off that says, "Okay, you've shared everything that was on your mind." You know, kind of like if you have a gasoline vehicle, like, okay, filling up the gas tank. The, I just the other day, I was really close to empty. Went to the gas station, right? Swipe, tap, whatever. Pick, leaded, or unleaded, plus diesel, what have you, or diesel fuel. And it fills up until it doesn't, until it's topped off, meaning that can't put any more in, or it'll spray out. And I've had that happen at least one time that I remember. So there's no belt. It's like, yeah, this is the this is the thing you're born to do when you share. You're going to be able to share exactly what you want to share, how much. Some people get a little bit off kilter on that. I don't get a bonus point. I don't get a sticker, smiley sticker. I don't get that at the end of my sessions with my therapist, my psychiatrist. I don't get stars. Like I said, I don't get a sticker or a lollipop or I don't get those. What I get is a little bit of satisfaction that I was able to take some things out of here and share them. Doesn't mean that I might not need to share about a certain thing or two or 10 at my next appointment, but at least at this stage, I'm able to say to myself, all right, I'm glad I showed up. I'm glad I stood up instead of just sat down. I'm glad I'm helping. I don't know all the ways that we're helping. I know the ways we want to help, but there's a lot of people we're not going to hear from that we helped and are helping and will be helping into the future. And that's okay. So I'll be like, oh, I got 100 smiley face stickers because I went to 100 therapy appointments, or I remember to take my medication at the specified times. I mean, I guess it would be nice, right? Any type of validation. It could be very nice. But that's not the case. No, it's not. So that's why we got to be cognizant of what's in our mind and what we need as an individual. Like, I needed this appointment today. I needed it. It just so happened it was today. Yesterday would have worked fine. The day before would have worked fine. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Every time I have an appointment scheduled dealing with my mental health, I don't know how it happens, but it's usually an appointment that is right after some kind of experience, some kind of event that I need to share about. And we don't need to feel ashamed. Absolutely not. Those stigmas out the window. This is life, people. This is life. I don't care about a stigma. I don't care about a stigma. I don't care about a stigma. And one of my wishes is that you wouldn't care about a stigma. And if you need to talk to somebody or need some help, that you do that, that you reach out. And sometimes when there's recommendations of a higher degree of help, that we don't look at that as a bad thing. We don't look at that as people are cornering us, the walls are closing in, they don't care about me. I've been there, done that, and it's not fun. So I know what it's like to an extent. The best thing you can do for you is to invest in you. So whether that's working out at the gym, whether that's mental health care, whether that's medication, whatever that may be, therapy visits, psychiatry visits, appointments, I guess, more appropriate word to use. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you can give us a thumbs up, like, follow, subscribe, share, reshare, repost, pull out your phone, share the Voices for Voices podcast with 25, 50, 100, 200 contacts. Please, that would be amazing if you could do that for us. We want to help a lot of people. We want to reach a lot of people. We want to reach and help at least 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. That's what I'm here for. That's what I've come to the conclusion. That's why we have over 527, 28 episodes, and why we're continuing strong, getting stronger by the day. Doesn't matter if you're watching, listening here in the United States or in another country. Thank you for including Voices for Voices and being part of the Voices for Voices family. So until next time, let's celebrate the voices of everybody in the world. And let's also be a voice for not only ourselves, but somebody else in need. We'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.